Hello. What you're about to see is an edited version uh, of a video that was much longer. I didn't realize YouTube had a 15-minute limit, so I apologize. Uh, but with that being said, I hope you enjoy the cut down version of the video. Hello. Welcome back to this dead YouTube channel. Yeah, I haven't made a video in like 3 years. I kind of quit because I was at a loss in my personal life. I quit college. I had an ex-girlfriend at the time, broke up, and I just didn't really know what to do. Pandemic happened, and a lot has happened since 2019. And I'm not gonna talk about like everything that's happened, but I'm gonna talk about one thing that's really impacted my life in a great way, and that is reading. Yes, reading is fantastic. As a kid, I didn't like reading because in school, reading was always this requirement to like pass or fail to move on. And I sucked at reading. I could never read on time or at the teacher's levels that they wanted us to be. And reading just sucked for me. But during 2020, when the pandemic happened, I was like, man, I really want to try a new hobby. I know this is shaking a lot. I'm on a desk that really isn't the best. So I'm going to try to keep my hands from touching the desk. But I talk with my hands, so it's kind of hard. Uh, I also moved out of my parents' house. Oh God, all of this stuff right here. Ooh, oh God, oh God. This stuff is all the books, comic books that I have collected since 2020. And I'm going to talk about my current readings because I have two. I have a comic book and a book that I'm currently reading, and I'm just going to go over some of my general uh, personal favorites over the 2 years that I've been reading. First up is Brandon Sanderson, Way of the Kings. This is the mass paperback. I'm 293 pages in. This book is fantastic. I finished reading the Game of Thrones series and Witcher series, and I was in need of another high fantasy book, and this was all over TikTok. Well, actually, Brandon Sanderson's work is all over TikTok, so I heard nothing but good things about the Stormlight Archives, which is this series. This big comic. This is Saga Compendium 1. It's collects, I think 9 volumes, 54 issues of Saga. This is freaking epic. Whenever I recommended Saga to somebody else and they didn't like the political things, and like, so I just feel like I got warned that to you guys. But also, this is very explicit. There's sex everywhere in this. You see full on dicks and just, yeah, you see everything. So do not read this unless you're over 18. Now I'm gonna get into some of my personal favorites. Is the Game of Thrones Song of Ice and Fire series. This is the 4th book, A Feast of Crows. It's pretty thick compared to Brandon Sanderson's The Way of Kings, as you see here. It's not as thick as that. This is my favorite one though, because it deals with the after effects of war, and there's a lot of chapters in this that just deal with like random people. I'm a big Star Wars fan. This Star Wars, The Old Republic, Fatal Alliance. I gotta be honest. There are 4 Old Republic books. This one is they're all about this thin, only about 500 pages. This one's the best out of the 4. The other 3 were just disappointing as fuck. Like, this has the Jedi and Sith Empire and Republic working together to fight a common enemy. I'm not going to try to give much of a spoiler, but that's what the common enemy is, and it's freaking amazing. It has 6 POVs that you swap between, and it's just great. I'm not going to talk any more about it because I want you guys to read it. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Fatal Alliance by Sean Williams, the best one out of 4 that I read this year. Because for my birthday, my girlfriend, she got me the Mr. Mercedes trilogy. So yeah, the first book, Mr. Mercedes. The first book is about Hodgins and Holly Gimli and Jerome trying to figure out who the Mr. Mercedes killer. Very good, very nice, epic climax. The second one is my personal favorite because the villain in this book, Morris, is fucking scary. And then end of watch, the most supernatural out of these 3 books. It kind of goes fucking crazy with this tablet. That's all I gotta say. It's very Stephen King. That inspired my favorite movie, Jurassic Park. This I picked up at Barnes & Noble. This was the, as you can see, the 25th anniversary trademark paperback edition. You guys are wanting to some horror. I can't talk. Science, Jurassic Park, and there's a lot of science in here. There's just chapters. Woo talking to John Hammond about like DNA manipulation. As you see, this stack is a lot thicker because I read a lot more comic books than I read actual books. So as I said, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Star Wars Boba Fett Blood Ties. This follows Boba Fett and his family history. It's actually pretty good. I wish that Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett, that version of Boba Fett, I'm just can't say Boba Fett, was more like this. I will say though, this also takes place before Return of the Jedi, so he is a lot younger in this. Next are, once again, huge Star Wars fan, Darth Maul, son of Dathomir, and just Darth Maul. Both great comic books. This might possibly be one of my favorite comic books of all time. Hellboy Omnibus Volume 3, The Wild Hunt. I read this entire thing, see how thick that is, in one night. Which I know for some people might not sound all that impressive, but for me and my reading level, I gotta reread this soon. I got so much other shit I gotta read. Hellboy has grown to be one of my favorite characters and franchises of all time. Also, some new releases of the Hellboy universe coming out too, which I'm looking forward to. But Hellboy, The Wild Hunt, it's so good. Next is The Witcher Omnibus. This got me into video games and the books. This is so good. It has a lot of Witcher doing cool Witcher stuff. House of Glass, Fox Children, Curse of Crows, amazing stories. Geralt's a badass. I also got big into Dungeons and Dragons, Critical Role, and all those guys, Dimension 20, stuff like that. And I had to get Vox Machina Origins Deluxe Edition Series 1 and 2. I hope to one day they go to a convention and have them sign this. Even my brother, who isn't like a big Critical Role fan, read this, and he really enjoyed it. And Series 3 paperback comes out in November, I think. But yeah, Critical Role, Vox Machina, fucking lit. One of my favorite series as well is Low. I'm a big sci-fi guy, but there's not a lot of sci-fi that really like blows my mind like Low did. Low is a world that I would love to revisit, because like Low is only these 2 books, which I know they're kind of thick. This guy right here, these 3 people who made this, like, give me more. Like, you made such a cool world. I want more. The sun turned into a red giant, so all Earth civilization has to go under water to survive, and they're running out of oxygen. Moving away from sci-fi and fantasy, we have my first horror comic book series. Something is killing the children. This woman is from House of Slaughter, and she hunts down monsters who are killing the children. The next couple of these comics are just fucking brutal. gory. Kids are dying left and right. People are losing limbs, and it's just epic. And I know kids dying isn't always the best thing, but it's kind of like another book that I'll bring up later. There's more to it than just something that's killing the children. Comic book that I read earlier this year, Gideon Falls, book 1, The Black Barn. There's not a lot of stuff in this world that scares me or creeps me out, but Gideon Falls was fucking unnatural. Well, it's supernatural, but it was gross and slimy, and I felt like it was getting under my skin. And there's just so much shit that's going on that will mind fuck with you. The comic book starts off like the movie Signs. You got the priest drinking and shit. You know, he's out in a crop field, and then you turn the fucking page for the big reveal. The Black Barn. When I saw that, and then when I saw that image, I knew how to keep on reading. Now, every praise I gave Hellboy, which are Something's Given to Children, and Gideon Falls, along with Saga, can all be found in Berserk. Berserk is fucking amazing. It is the greatest thing I have ever read in my fucking life. And the reason why I specifically have Volume 4, Volume 12 is The Eclipse. I know you non-Berserk fans are like, man, what's The Eclipse? And this is what I'm going to tell you about The Eclipse. You get thrown into the most wild, horrific, terrible shit that has ever happened to anybody. And I know how that sounds. Why is this the best thing that I've ever read if it's full of horrific shit? And the answer to that question is simple. You know, it has all those things. Guts' journey to become a better man than Griffith by just improving himself instead of sacrificing others. And I don't know how the story ends or how the other 8 of these deluxe volumes go. Guts is one of those protagonists that when shit happens to him, you just want to see him succeed. But like life is fucking hard. And this was one of the most relatable things I've read. And I know, like, I'm not, you know, a tough guy with a fucking sword that kills all these fucking people. Monster. To become a better person, even against the odds stacked against you, is just something that I think the whole world needs, you know? Everyone somewhere, no matter how much shit they have gone through, you have the ability to better yourself. Sure, it's all those things that I said earlier, but in the heart of Berserk, that's what it is. Those are some of my favorite reads I've read since 2019. I know this mood kind of went down. I thought about Berserk for a good while, and just thinking of like, man, like, sure, yeah, you know, it is all those things, but like, it is a lot more. And if you are over 18 and you want to read something that is gory as fuck, and that's all you want, read Berserk. If you want something that will make you question a little bit, read Berserk. Or just watch the 3 animated movies. But I think that's all I have for these videos. I don't know what my next video is going to be. I think I'm going to try to make one once a week. But yeah, for now, have a good night, everybody.